So one of the things that's really important in security is the ability to react very quickly to an incident. We want to provide as much of our security intelligence as we can as a data stream into the technologies that engulf that. I like to call it operating at the speed of data. So if you think about the security operations cloud we're building, this open XDR platform, if you can think of the platform as the kind of the heart and circulatory system of what we provide, think of Arctic Wolf Labs as the brain. It's where all the threat intelligence, all that information, all of our AI, everything is produced by Arctic Wolf Labs, and we can send that in as a data stream into the relative modules and products that take that in. We can move very, very fast. We can be dynamic in how we create this threat intelligence platform that can disseminate that information out. It'll also be the area where all of our threat research is done. We find a lot of very interesting novel threats in our customer base, and now we can do more research. We can publish that information out to the industry, not only be a thought leader for doing that, but actually help protect people by providing all that information to them through the threat research. At the end of the day, what helps protect you is that threat intel. It's the ability to identify things like hacker behaviors, to be able to look at vulnerability information, coupling usage of a certain device with potential vulnerabilities, the attacker activity against those devices. Really bringing all that together into one platform that can then deliver that. You know, the threat landscape changes minute to minute, and if you're not keeping up, in some cases in front of it, and this is where the AI comes into play, then you're just at risk as a customer. We'll build both rule-based and artificial intelligence models to look at a collection of behaviors. For example, if you see something on one spot and it looks suspicious but not malicious, you look at another spot, maybe it looks completely benign, but then you couple in a third piece of intelligence. The collection of those three indicates that something is malicious, and that's what Labs can do. It can build that collection of behaviors. It can take feeds from other threat resources like Yara feeds for IOCs that are being published by the federal government. It can also take detection information from a variety of sensors we have. We can have detections that are focused around email security, around network security, endpoint security. We try and do as much of that as we can with artificial intelligence, but obviously some things are super obvious to us. We can add context to data that's coming in from some of those sensors by doing cross-correlation with threat intelligence. So if you think about threat intelligence is going to be a collection of data and a disseminator of data, and we have to get information fed into it, and we have to have something receive information out of it. So a lot of the solutions work are going to be those engines that provide that. It'll also be the receiver of that information back if there's any automated response or anything we want to build into it. Daniel Thanos will be leading the labs for us. He's a longtime security veteran, one of the smartest people in the security industries. We're really excited to have him. And obviously, we've been doing a lot of this work already. By building this team out now, we'll get a lot of focus on it, pull it out, and have Dan kind of own all of that and continue to build that team and that talent.
So like Dan, I've been in the industry for 20 plus years on the R&D side, the operations side. I've done cybersecurity for pretty much every industry and vertical I can think of. Lots of experience working with US government and governments all over the world in this area, large enterprises, small enterprises and startups and large industrials. Why am I super excited about Labs? Well, there's two reasons. Of course, there's the fundamental reason that Arctic Wolf is uniquely positioned in the security operations space, and that's what really matters when it comes to defending organizations, where the rubber hits the road. And similarly, our view of Labs in this area is also very practically informed. It's literally about taking innovation, moving at the speed of data, and delivering protection over the total attack surface area, just in time, all the time. And that's a unique opportunity, because when you're essentially doing this in more traditional security companies, you only have a very siloized view of what you're kind of delivering your protections and your detections against. Here, it's much broader, right? Because we're covering the entire attack surface area. We're building our platform on a large set of tools, and therefore we're delivering our detections, our intel, our AI over a much diverser set of point solutions. and elements within the platform that we've built and are continuing to build. The AI aspect is also super exciting because, again, having worked in the security and AI space for a long time as well, what I will tell you is that good AI learns from the human, and the human also learns from good AI. We have that unique opportunity, that unique synergy to be combining human and machine intelligence that cross-train each other. So when I look at all of these elements that come together, it's providing us a unique opportunity that in all my years of experience, I've never seen, and I'm blessed to be here and to do that. My vision for the labs aligns with the vision of the company, which is to end cyber risk in a fundamental way for the industry. But it's also, the labs has a unique opportunity to operate in the area of public good, like the research that we're going to be doing and publishing releases for critical threat events. That also comes back to our mandate of also trying to unify the security industry, right? We're acting as a unifying source in everything that we're doing and everything that we're building in our platform.
You know, operating at the speed of data, that's the thing that I really get excited about. It's taking that intelligence to be able to deploy it as rapidly as possible into the ecosystem. I think that's where our customers will be best served. And again, I think if you think about human intelligence coupled with AI, that really equals security intelligence. And that's what we're all about. To be able to do that at the speed of data is really what's exciting.
Here's an example of what we would be talking about. As you know, one important thing that a lot of organizations deal with is alert fatigue or getting too many alerts. So we have a technology called ToonBot. It actually monitors all of our detections that are developed, even our conventional detections. It profiles them and then learns where there's, like, let's say, too much noise being generated based on, again, human feedback that's coming back from the system. And it kind of determines where we need to either level up our detections or level them down. And that's really important, right? Because if we're dealing with too much noise, that's also detracting human eyes and human minds from real threats, right? Having worked in operations for a long time, that's the number one enemy that most organizations have to deal with. It's like most of these tools just generate a flood of alerts, and you're still left hunting for that needle in the haystack.
One of the areas we want to focus on is when you think about the key kind of security operations tool from the past, it was a SIEM, a security incident and event management system. And that product was really focused on gathering as much information from logs as it possibly can, and then try and help figure out if something's going bad in the system. And alert fatigue became a huge problem from that. And so actually one of the biggest challenges in security isn't finding the needle in the haystack as much as finding the needle in the needles. Right? Like, what needle really matters? And so our approach to this is along more of what we would call an XDR approach. Is we're going to collect a bunch of data, but it's data that can feed our models and feed our detection logic algorithms. And that way we're using just the data that we need to come up with an outcome that the customer cares about. So an example of what labs will be doing is we're trialing out some AI models that can do detections across a variety of different observation points. That's really, really tough. If we can look at like 3 or 4 different observation points and have an AI model that can say, hey, look, across all of those, that looks bad, where individually they may not have looked that bad. And then that last mile is, hey, security analyst, we think this is bad, do a little bit of digging here. And then even there, we want to produce models that help the analysts be more efficient. So automate some of the workflow for them. So even if we get into a situation where an analyst has to look at something, we've optimized that experience for them with AI. So that's some really exciting stuff that Labs is going to be doing that's really breaking new ground. This isn't something that's very common in the industry, and we're really excited that we're going to be on the leading front edge of that.
We're going to be at the leading edge of combining AI with human intelligence and the benefits around all that, and all the synergies. Building models that are more predictive, predicting attack graphs. An analyst will, go through an incident. They will take certain actions. We're going to be tracking those actions that are being taken, and then kind of predicting based on alerts that are coming in from various sensor sources or attack surfaces, giving analysts kind of like a time machine that says, you know what, we think this is going to be the next thing you're going to see.
If you want to summarize the mission of Arctic Wolf Labs, is to blow everybody's mind. If there's one thing that you leave with this, is security intelligence can only be gathered by the combination of human intelligence and artificial intelligence. You can't have a full view of security intelligence without both. You have to be able to operate at the speed of data.